stop the train. That is a park rules also for your safety because we care a lot about you. Also keep your arms and legs and friends inside the train at all times. Watch your belongings and jackets and things. We don't want any accidents. That's a lot of paperwork for me. All right, my
I've
friends,
been in
off
that
on the
house
right-hand
before.
side of the train, we're passing hand cart row. These hand carts are just like what the pioneers would use to come across the plains. They were very fast and economical, but they were a lot of work. You could put about 500 pounds on one of these hand carts. That's a lot of pounds to push for just an hour. Imagine pushing one of those things for 3 months. You would be buff. You'd be like the Hulk, right? I can answer questions afterwards, but I'm just going to keep on rambling, all right? Also on the right-hand side is the Manti Pork Grist Mill. A mill like this, you could grind down corn and wheat to make flour. To operate a mill like this, do you use gasoline?
No.
Electricity?
Water.
No. What do you use?
Water.
Water. So of course, right above the mill, we have a mill pond full of water. And when you come back with your wristband, you can ride on the mini train around our mill pond. You see one of our two teepees right up here. We're doing Native American crafts there today. We also have a ship.
There's
You see that boat over
crocodiles.
there? That ship
Whoa.
Brooklyn. That's to commemorate those who came across via ship instead of via wagon. Look all the way out to the western mountains behind you, folks. Isn't that a beautiful view? Do you see that light brown colored spot on the mountain? That is the Kennecott Copper Mine.
Where?
That is one of only 2 man-made structures in the whole world that can be seen from space. What's the other one, do you think? We already talked about it. The Great Wall of China. Yes, so Utah's
Where?
pretty special.
I don't even know. I don't even know what the
As
talking
we
about.
come around the corner, you'll notice some construction going on the driver's side. We are in the middle of building and finishing our Native American village. This is set to open within the next month, so be sure to come back during the summer and you'll see a giant medicine wheel. That teepee is the largest in the Western Hemisphere. On the other side, we are passing the treasure house on the right-hand side. The treasure house, you can camp for gold and a lot of other activities. It was named because Abraham Lincoln said that Utah may yet become the treasure house of the nation. I think he was right. This part of our journey is a little bit treacherous, so everybody keep your arms in. This is the
Squirrel!
Northern Utah Hybrid
I saw a
Scrub
squirrel.
Oak Forest. This is a very old oak tree. That's why it looks so funny. It had to survive the Ice Age. It's over 2,000 years old. It's home to a lot of critters. In
Where's
fact, if you
squirrel?
look towards the front of the train, you might even see a lion. A lion train conductor, that is. We don't have lions here. We do have mountain lions, though. They're a little bit different. Those are more like cougars. Hey, you see that adobe home over there with the white window? That is the Mary Fielding Smith home. Mary Fielding Smith was a pioneer woman
can't see
who was
nothing.
pretty amazing.
You just
She was a widow.
messed
She came
up.
across the plains with her 7 children all by herself.
passed it.
She even promised her wagon train that she would beat them all here, and she did exactly that. She beat them by a whole day. Because of her bravery,
Oh, we got
she was
one,
awarded
Mommy.
some land in downtown Salt Lake City, but she said no, she didn't want to be that close to her neighbors. On the driver's side,
Squirrel,
we're passing a little
squirrel,
road. This is
squirrel,
called Monument
squirrel.
Road. You see
Where?
that white obelisk
Squirrel,
right there?
squirrel, squirrel,
All right,
squirrel.
that's the original This Is the Place monument, dedicated in 1921 with the help of the Boy
21.
Scouts. Raise your hand if you're a Boy
21.
Scout or have a friend who is. Awesome stuff. Keep with it. Get that eagle. You won't regret it. Most historians agree that this is right about where Brigham Young sat up and said, "This is the right place. Drive on." And we're so glad he did. We're going to keep on driving on.
The motorcycle.
On the passenger side over here, you're going to be seeing this white building, this 2-story white building right behind me. This is the Deseret Hospital, very special hospital, was staffed almost entirely with women.
Right here.
It's not unusual to see a woman doctor these days, but back then it was very uncommon. Many of these women trained to be medical doctors in Philadelphia, then came down here to create this teaching hospital. Today, it's home to the Utah Quilt Guild Museum that has a lot of fine handmade heirlooms from a long time ago. Next building on your right is the Smoot Hall. This is part of the Brigham Young Academy, which would then become the Brigham Young University. Who's heard of Brigham Young University? All right, my friends, I just wanted to point out the color of this building is red, so go Utes! All right, on the train driver's side here, we are passing the entrance to our fine museum. Everybody say hello to our gatekeeper. Hello! And just above the gatekeeper is the Eagle Gate Monument. This is a very special monument. There are about, it's been modified 4 times. Hopefully ours doesn't need to be modified that much. On the passenger side, we are
Last time
passing
there
the
was a
Bowery.
watermelon
This
contest
structure
over here.
behind you, it looks a little rough, doesn't it? This
You
is one of
went
the
here
first
before?
structures they built when they first arrived into
With
a
my
new
family?
settlement to give them some shade and shelter. It's a place where they'd have school and church and be a little rowdy, maybe have lunch. You might even get to have your lunch down there if you're lucky. Now turn around to the driver's side. You have an excellent view of this is the Place Monument. This is the newer version. It was dedicated on July 24th, 1947,
Right there, right there, right there.
marking the centennial or 100-year anniversary of the settling of the valley.
Got it.
On top there is Brigham Young and his 2 counselors, but there are over 60 different faces depicted on this monument, including Spanish settlers, clergymen, monks, and Native Americans, of course. On the passenger side, we are passing a bunch of trees. This is an orchard. What kind of orchard is it, do you think? Apple, you're right. Give me
I
some more
have an
jazz hands if you like apple pie. Oh, yes. Well, this is actually a monument. I'll talk to you about it in just a second. But on the other side, the driver's side, we are
Horse,
passing
horse,
a couple
horse,
of veteran
horse,
monuments.
side,
The
horse,
first one with the
side.
flags is the Mormon Battalion Monument. They are famous for having
Horse,
the longest U.S. military march in history. Isn't that cool? The next one is the Pony
I wonder
Express
about a
Monument.
horse.
The Pony Express
Oh, the horse.
only operated for
Okay,
18
okay.
months until the year 1860 when the
This
telegraph
is the
was
white horse.
introduced.
Oh my gosh.
Now, why would we have an apple orchard that is a monument? Yell it out. Well, I hope you said because of a famous apple orchard belonging
Yes,
to Brigham Young
I
a long
did.
time ago. His apple orchard was so famous that you could produce an apple that weighed a whole pound. So you could make an entire apple pie with
I'm
just
getting Patricio.
one apple. Isn't that amazing? That's one heavy apple. Everybody say hello to
Hold
our
on.
volunteering friends over here. They sure are excited to have you visiting today. We do offer trail rides
Cows.
here at the park, so if you're interested in having a trail ride on one of the bigger ponies, have your parents visit thisistheplace.org or come see us at the visitor center on your next visit. Next up, we're going to be approaching Barbie's Dream House.
What the heck?
I'm kidding, of course, but it sure does look like it, doesn't it? Now, this is the Brigham Young Forest Farmhouse. This is one of the first buildings to be brought up to the park in the year 1975. It is beautiful inside and outside, just
I've
like
been
most
in there,
of you here
actually.
on this train.
Is it beautiful? Uh-huh.
In case you
It
were
has two
wondering, yes,
rooms.
the original color
It has
of this
two
building was
upstairs
pink.
and a downstairs.
In fact,
Two
at the
rooms?
time it was built, pink was considered to be a very manly color. It was very nice. So this
Can
house
we
was a very
live there?
manly looking house when it was
Um,
built. It
I
wasn't
don't know.
until later on that blue started to replace pink as being more fashionable for men. Alrighty. On the on the driver's side, we're passing the Garden Place Event Center, but in front of that, see all these stone monuments?
Oh.
This is what we call our Walk of Faiths. This is to commemorate the many different faiths that help settle our beautiful valley here, including the LDS Church, the Jewish community, the Catholic community, and many, many others. A few other words about the beautiful Brigham Young Forest Farmhouse. Everybody wave goodbye. Goodbye. Hope you get a chance to tour it on your next visit. It was the largest dairy farm in the state. A lot of happy cows there, but it was also an experimental farm for people who took seeds from all over different states and even countries to test out in Utah soil. That's one of the reasons that here in Utah we grow the same alfalfa they grow in Switzerland. If you look on either side of the train right now, you'll see alfalfa growing. That is Lucerne alfalfa from Switzerland. So everybody say hello, Swiss alfalfa. How about a little Utah trivia? Does anybody know what our state bird is? Yell it out. It is the California seagull. Yes, yes. Does anybody know why that's our state bird?
No.
Crickets, crickets. No, really, crickets. We had a cricket problem, and the seagull swooped in just like Captain America and saved the day. Good job, seagulls. What about snacks? If you've ever had green Jell-O, raise your hand.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're not the only one. Here in Utah, we consume more green Jell-O than any other state per capita. Guess what else we eat a lot of? Vanilla ice cream. Yeah. All right, on the passenger side, we're coming up here on Cabin Row. See all these little cabins? Can you imagine living inside one of these cabins? These are all original homes with a lot of history. In including the Perry cabin, the Hickman cabin, the Ryder cabin, and our tinsmith is also moved to the cabin row. The next building on the route you'll see is the Pack Home with these 2 doors. This is available to rent, so for your next event, this is the place. That was the Deseret Academy, which would later become the University of Utah. On the other side of the train is the beautiful mansion for Heber C. Kimball. You see that rock wall around it? The original rock wall was 9 feet tall. It didn't have to be that tall, but he decided to put some of the immigrants to work so they would have a job when they come to town. This is the Huntsman Hotel here. It's only 1/3 the size of the original, which was 3 times as big, was quite a sight to see. Today we serve hamburgers, hot dogs, and other goodies, so when you come back to visit, you'll know exactly where to go when you get hungry. Right. And we're passing the bay. We have a saloon and an ice cream parlor and a barber shop and a saddle worker shop. The VCMI Center is also an original building. We're passing the drugstore, and our final stop here is the cabinet shop in the pottery. I want everybody to look on top of the cabinet shop right now. Do you see something kind of funny up there? No, that's not a timeout chair, teachers. It's also that's not where I do my sunbathing, as far as you know. It's a form of advertising. So if you don't speak English, you'd know what they made. All right, everybody, put your hand in the air if you learned at least 2 things today. Now give it a good shake.